My name is Vuga Shabala, founder and CEO of James Banza Legacy Foundation Trust, and also researcher, curator, and journalist at the Kaizer Football Club. We are in Meadowlands, which is about 10 kilometers from Orlando. Meadowlands came into existence after the forced removals of African people from Soweto. This area is made up of the last group of people to be moved from the so-called grey areas, which were later converted into whites-only areas. People from here were staying in Soweto, which was integrated, in fact, racially integrated area. The apartheid government was not happy about the integrated racial areas, so they felt that white people, black people should be separated and live in separate areas. People from Soweto tried their best not to move out of Soweto up until the apartheid government used brutal force to move them to this area, which is known as Meadowlands. To add salt to injury, this area of Meadowlands is divided according to ethnic groups, where you have Botswana, Basotho, Bapedi in their own area. You have Banguni, Makosa, Mazulu, and Swatis in their own area. You've got Tsonga and Mapenda in their own area. So it is just more like a Bantustan in an urban area. The reason we are here today, we are here to capture what transpired 50 years ago. That was in 1973. That was a derby game between Orlando Pirates Football Club and Kaizer Chiefs. What you should also take into cognizance is that Kaizer Chiefs was launched on the 7th of January 1970 in Meadowlands, at the home of Solomon Makosi Shezi, who was also an administrator of Kaizer Chiefs. Meadowlands Stadium was the first home ground of Kaizer Chiefs. Kaizer Chiefs used to train and play their home games here. So it happened in 1973, a game between Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs, a DP semi-final match. Orlando Pirates had defeated Bantu Kedis, a team from Pretoria, by 3 goals to 2. Then they had to play a semi-final here at Meadowlands Stadium in 1973. On this particular day, I walked from Orlando together with my friends Sabelo, Mbonseni, Shedo, Shupi, Ri, a number of others whom I cannot remember for now, including Bongeni, who was also my neighbor. We walked all the way from Orlando to Meadowlands Stadium. When we were about to reach Meadowlands Stadium, we saw several cars and supporters along the way. At that time, African people were driving left-handed cars, including Mustang, Plymouth, Chevrolet, you name them. When we were about to reach the stadium, we were surprised because the perimeter of the stadium wasn't there. It was just flat. There were about plus minus 30,000 supporters. As young people at that time, we were allowed to sit on the touchline next to Orlando Pirates bench. And the game started at 3 o'clock. It started in a very high pace. On that day, Kaizer was in a mean mood. He scored the first goal within the first 5 minutes. Tagam Daung of Orlando Pirates equalized with a pile driver from out of 18. Towards the interval, Kaizer Daung scored the second goal. Then it went for interval. During the second half, Kilam Giti scored an equalized goal for Orlando Pirates. At that time, Orlando Pirates had players like Rashia Jacobs. Rashia Jacobs on this day, he was also a captain. On the bench, the manager on the day was Tony Anderson, whom, when he came to Orlando Pirates, he claimed to have played for Wolves Wanderers, a team from England. It was later found out that no, this man was not telling the truth. He was just a DJ. He just happened to be a white person that was easy to believe in. Other players included Jomosono, Riz Kosana, Chipamloyi, Roman Kolwane, not to be confused with Johannes Iboy Kolwane, Roni, Maganda, Shongwe, Milton, Schoolboy Nkosi, Shakes Mashaba, Shavu Mukopane, Kaizer Chiefs the goalkeeper, Joseph Banksitodi, Tenten Zimande, Senzeni Tsibande, Kaizer Mtaung, Likhodi, that was Paradise Likhodi, Apetniko Shagango. That was a formidable team. It was just an end-to-end stuff. Towards the dying minutes of the game, Orlando Pirates supporters realizing that they are about to lose this game. Dibaba, China, Shongwane stepped the ball, and there was riot at the stadium. The game was abandoned. A few days later, NPSL management team took a decision to move this Soweto Derby game to Port Elizabeth. Remember, Port Elizabeth was named by Governor at the time, who had organized the first recorded match in South Africa. That was on the 23rd of May 1862, where it featured a visiting team from Europe and a local team. So the governor had named Port Elizabeth after his wife Elizabeth Francis. So it was a coincidence that the match from Soweto would be moved to Port Elizabeth, where a recorded match, football match in fact, took place in 1862. Another game which took match, although in England, it was 1879 after Impiase Sondla, when the British Army shipped spears that they took from the African warriors, including shields, to play that game now in England. The game took place on November 1879. This was the first football match where spectators had to pay an entry fee. So these British regiment were in a way imitating the Amazulu warriors. They were playing at the same time football, carrying spears and shields, imitating the Zulu warriors. That ended up being the Sheffield Wednesday. The team that we have today, which is Sheffield Wednesday, originally it was known as Zulus or Amazulu team. So the game between Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs was now moved to Port Elizabeth, considering that because of safety, so they felt it was going to be much safer if the game between the two giants from Soweto would be played outside of Soweto. So the game was moved to Port Elizabeth, where we follow in the next couple of months just to cover this epoch match. 50 years ago, that is 1973, Orlando Pirates made history. It made a clean sweep when Orlando Pirates won 5 titles. So in a way, it is a coincidental celebration of that 50 years story of this magnificent team, which was just a mean machine. One of the legendary players, Risco Sana, when asked about the then so-called coach of Orlando Pirates, Tony Sanderson, he just said, this man was just like a stooge. The players knew what to do. He was more like a manager than a coach, unlike today when we have coaches instead of managers. The then players knew what to do in the field of play. They did not expect to be told by a so-called coach on the bench. Although with time things have changed now, it is said our football is transformed. Although we don't no longer see many goals as we used to see in the past. So it is important today to talk about Soweto Derby, which will be happening also on the 25th of this month, which is 25th February 2023 at the FNB Stadium. So this is part of the stories of the Soweto Derby that will be also be telling as we go along. Thank you so much.